Boy, oh boy, do I have a story for you. So, first off, I just want to say, welcome to my dorm room. Also, wowie zowie, new glasses. What the heck? Dustin, you've upgraded your life. Yeah, yep. But enough of these little introductions. I have a story for you. So, over the summer, I came out as bisexual to my parents. And to you. Now. And so shortly after coming out to my parents, I was on this app called Grindr. And I met who I thought was probably the best guy I had ever met up to that point. His name was Tucker. And so Tucker and I dated for about a month and a half. And then all of a sudden he texts me that he does not want to be with me anymore because the distance between us was a little too much for him to handle at that point. So I'm like, okay, because how else am I supposed to respond? And I was understandably sad for the next few days. And needless to say, while we were dating, I deleted Grindr, but then after we broke up, I re-downloaded it back onto my phone. It's never a good idea to get onto social dating apps right after you break up with someone because you do need time to cope. Yeah. And so right after Tucker and I broke up, I was immediately ready to rebound. Physically ready, yes, but emotionally ready, no. And so I was messaging this guy. And he was really nice, really charming, about 22-ish years old. And he tells me that he wants to meet up with me that night. I had nothing going on, so I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Red flag number one, he never told me his name. I have no idea what his name is even to this day. Warning flag number two, I did not know that the address he gave me was for a rest area on a highway. Red flag number three, this rest area was kind of secluded and kind of not really that busy at all that time of night. I think I went around 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So I get there and there are two other cars and there are two semis parked there. So it's busier than I thought it was going to be, but not as busy as it probably could have been or whatever. And so me, being the absolute dumbass that I am, I get out and start looking at the cars. But no one's in the cars. So I'm like, well, that's weird. Maybe they're at the building that's there. And I go and check the building, but the main thing is, the main vestibule is locked, but the bathrooms aren't. So I go check the men's bathroom and there's no one in there. I also want to point out that this rest area was poorly lit. Warning sign number 4. 5, 4. And so I start walking back to my car and there was a face of this building. If there's a building here, this is where the bathroom is, but on this side is a completely dark wall. And so I walk out of this side over to this side and I hear a voice, I hear someone cough, and I whip around. I should have just kept walking, but I whip around and there's a figure there, just a black figure that I cannot see. And so I'm so stupid. So I'm like, hey, are you here to meet with someone? And he's like, no. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I have the wrong person. But then he steps slightly away from the wall and into the pale moonlight that was shining down from the sky. And he's like, but I can be. And I kind of pause. And I look back over at him. And I examine him. He's probably about 40-ish years old. Not my type. No. And his hair is balding. And so I give him the once over and I say, no thank you. And I start going back to my car, but as soon as I turn around, he I felt his hand brush against my elbow, he was trying to grab my arm. So that just makes me run faster to my car, and I'm all washed out. And so I go on fight or flight mode right away, and I don't even hear him following me, which he was following me. And so I unlock my car from a fairly like a fair distance away, and like get into it, and like I open the door, slam it shut, and he's right on my tail. And he like pounds on the window, and he's like, "Oh, come on, it'll be fun." And I don't look at him. I just start up my car, lock all the doors, and I reverse, and I head right out of there. I think I ran over his foot. I don't know. And so as I'm driving back, I'm like shaken. My adrenaline is going. I'm like kind of crying. And then I get on Grindr to see if this guy was the same guy that like the profile was. And I'm like getting messages from this guy telling me that his friend is still there waiting for me, willing to give me $200 if I turn around and go back. I'm of course not thinking about money because I would never do that. And instead I ask him why he wasn't the person who I was supposed to meet up with and why he wasn't there. He told me he was at his girlfriend's house. And I immediately start asking him all of these questions about why he would lure innocents to go and do something like that with the promise of him but sending someone else there. He told me that I was gullible and that I shouldn't have fallen for it. Needless to say, I have not gone out to meet anyone since then, and I caution all of you to not be as hasty as I was when going to meet someone over Grindr or Tinder. Add them on at least Instagram or especially Snapchat, just so that way they can like send you pictures of them in real time. Don't be dumb like I was. Don't be scared like I was. Because the world is full of creeps and they know how to take advantage of dumb, horny, hasty people. And that's all I have to say on that. This is Dustin signing off, but only for now.